We begin tonight with late-breaking news we've been following tonight outside of D.C., Washington, D.C., a mass exodus as the game between the San Diego Padres and Washington Nationals is suspended in the 6th inning tonight after police say there was a shooting outside Nationals Park.
The Associated Press is reporting 2 people were shot. Washington Metro Police believe one of the victims was an employee at the stadium. Police later tweeted 2 additional victims associated with this incident walked into area hospitals for treatment of gunshot wounds.
The Padres had just taken the field for the bottom of the 6th inning when several loud pops were heard from the left field side of the ballpark. Fans sitting in left field quickly began leaving through the center field gate. A short time after that, fans along the first base side began leaving their seats, while some fans crowded into the Padres dugout on the third base side for safety.
We'll continue to follow this story and bring you the latest updates as we receive them on air and online at ksat.com.
Meanwhile, back here at home, a 9-year-old boy is still recovering from his injuries after an SUV crashed through his bedroom overnight over on the southeast side. Neighbors say he and his other brothers could be seen trapped under debris.
Now, the driver of the SUV also recovering from his injuries. The neighbors tell me this isn't the first time a crash like this has happened in the area.
I just heard the loud bang and then I heard a screeching.
This woman, who asked not to be identified, wasn't the only one awakened after an SUV crashed through their neighbor's house around 2 this morning.
His bumper flew into my bedroom window. I was laying down, like I said. The glass got me, but I rolled over, fell off on the floor, hurt my wrist, and ran and checked on my daughter.
This neighbor, who also asked not to go on camera, also witnessed the aftermath firsthand.
The neighbor came out crying, my babies, and she grabbed me, she hugged me. So when I looked, all I can see is their head crying, like barely moving around.
San Antonio police say the driver of this SUV was speeding around the curve here on East South Cross when it hit the curb, rolled over, and then hit the home before crashing into a large tree. The family, including 3 children, were asleep at the time.
I saw the little boy in the bed, and he was crying. He was screaming that his arm, his shoulder.
Both the driver, who was ejected from the SUV, and the child were taken to the hospital in serious condition.
The neighbors tell me that the mother had just removed her baby from a crib that sat in this corner of the home before the SUV drove through the house. Another devastating sight that they saw, children's heads poking out of this debris that you see right here. They said this is an unfortunate situation that they've dealt with on multiple occasions. For example, right across the street there, another home being boarded up after it was hit by a vehicle.
They say they would like to see a barrier put up to protect their homes from crashes such as this. They would also like to see more patrol to crack down on speeders. In the meantime, they can only live on the edge.
The city to do something before somebody else dies here. And I hope it's not me and my daughter.
District 3 Councilwoman Phyllis Villagran extended her prayers to the family impacted by this crash. She says she plans to follow up with Chief William McManus and the Public Works Committee to look into this issue. To see her full response, visit the story on our website at ksat.com.
Some other crashes making up the day's top stories. A road rage incident resulting in a crash on the city's west side. This one happening around 1:30 near 1604 in West Military Drive. Police say a man allegedly showed a gun to another driver. That driver then telling police the man fired 1 shot. Police then say the man hit that same car, causing his vehicle to spin out of control. Both drivers were taken to the hospital. The man with the gun may be facing charges.
Authorities say a man was hit and killed on Highway 281 last night. This crash happening around 11 p.m. not far from Loop 1604. Sheriff's deputies say the driver claimed to not have seen the person in the middle of the road. The victim was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver did stop to help, but deputies say they could face charges depending on the outcome of the investigation.
New on the night beat, extremely long wait lines at a far west side post office. Those who go there say it is due to staffing issues. The night team's John Paul Barajas went looking for answers.
The list of frustrations for those who use the Richland Hills post office are growing. That long list is nothing compared to the line people are having to wait in just to get their mail or mailbox key.
What's the longest you think you've seen the line?
Probably around 100 people. It was outside people aren't happy, and that's at the end of the day.
Really long line.
How long did you wait?
Hour and a half.
Morgan Weber and Ben Velarde explain a simple errand has turned into a dreaded chore that often goes unfinished because people simply don't have the time or patience to wait. Adding what our cameras captured doesn't do the magnitude of the problem justice.
I've never seen somewhere where as many consecutive one-star reviews as this place.
Shipping labels at home, and I come after hours, just, no one's real happy. It's very crowded.
They say the biggest issue is the post office only has one person working the window, and they believe a solution is needed sooner rather than later.
Hire more people and just organize better. Find it, whatever they're doing isn't working.
We reached out to the U.S. Postal Service, and they sent us a statement that reads in part, local postal officials are aware of ongoing wait time issues and report they are actively working on several initiatives to more efficiently serve our valued customers, including plans to assign more resources. As for a timeline on when those resources are coming, that was not given. John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
If we are going to be able as a state to respond even more aggressively, one thing we need is additional funding.
Governor Greg Abbott continuing to plead his case for a state-funded wall at the Texas border with Mexico today. The governor was joined in Del Rio by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, as well as local law enforcement there. You can watch the governor's press conference and read more about his proposed plans right now on KSAT.com.
Meanwhile, 3 of the Texas House Democrats who flew to D.C. this week have tested positive for COVID-19. This after breaking quorum to block a GOP voting bill last week. The 3 lawmakers in question were fully vaccinated, according to a report by the Austin American-Statesman. All of the Texas House Democrats have been vaccinated. That's according to caucus officials. Those who have tested positive for COVID-19 will now isolate for the next 10 days and will undergo a PCR coronavirus test as well. That's also being reported by the American-Statesman. Their names have not yet been released.
Despite a decrease in people getting vaccinated, city officials are not stopping vaccine clinics. They continue to add more incentives in hopes of getting more residents vaccinated. Our Jonathan Cotto stopped by Toyota Field to see what influenced people to finally get the jab.